What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld, and right now we're going to be talking about John Lynch. You know, is it worth it to get his card for the 120K? Now remember, Bo Jackson was a different thing. We came up with this because we can evaluate that an 88 overall is going to average about 120K. So what do I mean about getting him for 120K? Similar to Bo Jackson, when you go ahead and get their power-ups and the challenges and the missions, it's going to take you that amount to get them to a suitable amount. We're going to go take a look at John Lynch in a second. So right about here, to get him right before the item, you're going to need about 2,500. So you can see with Bo Jackson, it was a W. Like getting a 90 speed running back with 89 excel for, 120K, and it's Bo Jackson, who in certain cases, he will truck dudes and stay on his feet and keep going for 6. Just so that we're very, very clear with that, all right? So now we're going to do that same assessment, because what's happening is a lot of you guys are wondering, all right, Gmia, how are you staying competitive without buying all these bundles? It's simple, all right? I'm grinding the game. I'm doing a lot of things with what I already have, and I'm trying to minimize my urge to go ahead and continue to buy bundles. Probably until like Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson comes out, I'm not going to be too excited about much of the stuff that's going on. So I try to pace myself, because even though the game right now is at the highest level of, pay to play, you still have to try to have some kind of control. All right, so here goes the John Lynch that you get for free by playing the challenges, right? So we're gonna take a look at it, and some of you guys were asking, is it worth it to get him? Because, I rage sold Atwater because I thought Atwater sucked, right? And Enforcer is a non-factor. So you can see right there, up to this point, it takes about 24.58 to get him to this point. So because Enforcer is a non-factor, I don't know if I should say, get this, because this is where he'll be. He'll be an 88 overall. He would have 85 speed. His hit power is going to be, where is it? It'll be 86. So you'll have another big hitter. He's about 6'2", but then you got Jeremy Chin. You see, you got guys like that could come out that are, it depends. Like, for the most part, this 88 is going to be a little bit better than the Jeremy Chin, Terrell Edmonds, all those guys that are budget players. But the name, though, like, what is the chance that he might play better? There's a high chance he might, but he's an 85 speed, which means you would always have to keep him in the box as a sub linebacker if you only got him to this point. Now, if you got him here, an 87 speed is a little bit more respectable, but it's like, it's very, very difficult, especially for those of you guys that run around running man every snap and you have no respect for yourselves. That is something that will affect you negatively. Plus, you can see that his archetype is a zone strong safety. So this is very, very difficult to go ahead and say, look, why don't you do this? Because I don't feel that this would suit a lot of my viewers, especially for those of you guys that are not spending money. Now, if you are spending money, it's a whole different subject. Would I get him over, the free safety of Atwater? No, because in my opinion, they're pretty much the same card. It's just that this dude's white and he's 6'2", and Atwater's 6'3". You see what I'm saying? Like, it's the same exact card for the most part. They're going to probably play the same. It's going to be a lot of similarities. But again, with the speed factor, it's a huge, huge problem. All right? Because if you have somebody that's not suitable speed, you are going to have a lot of issues. So what does that mean? What are the replacements that you can utilize? I've already stated to you guys that as far as my strong safety goes, let me go ahead and pull them up right here so you guys can get an assessment of it. I go with the budget players because Terrell Edmonds is huge and he's a budget player. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's take a look at his numbers real quick just to give you guys insight again and remind you guys. 89 speed, 89 excel. This guy's going for 50K. Why would you spend 120 to get John Lynch up to an 88? Okay? Like, what's the point? Hit power 90. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you really doing other than going after the name? Now, if you're going to be working to get that ultimate card, if you're going to be going after that John Lynch and you're like, yo, Gmia, I'm about to snipe these cards, I'm going to put together the set, and I'm going to make John Lynch, that is completely different. But I'm just stating this because a lot of you guys can get suitable teams by just sniping certain cards, getting training, and using these free power-ups for legends and building your squad up. All right, because right now I had to raid sell Jeremy Chin maybe about a week ago to go ahead and get other players, because that's what you have to do. You got to be willing to interchange players and continue to build your roster, unless, again, you're going to buy packs every week. All right, that's just something that I wanted to make sure everybody understood. Now, as far as like the GOAT user, Everybody knows Isaiah Simmons is a god. I've told you guys this at launch when I completed his set. This guy's the best user in the game. So there's no debate about that. Like, there's nothing to really talk about. This guy's a savage, and he should always be your user. If you want to leave him as a safety, whatever, he's, pretty big, but 6'4", he is jumping through the roof. You guys go back to the videos when I completed his set. I told you guys, I immediately tested him out. He is unbelievable. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that. Now, with all of that knowledge, what would, be the better case for you? Would it make more sense to lurk Isaiah Simmons and get him over Lynch? Or use this free one right here that you get from the solos and the challenges and make him an 88 to raise your overall, but know that you're going to be lacking the speed? Those are decisions that are very, very tough. And for me, at this point right now, honestly, I'm looking at Gonzalez. Why am I looking at Gonzalez? Because Drew Bennett, that dude's garbage. And I don't know what he's doing in most cases, but he doesn't go for the ball as much as I would like. This year, with the way that the Moss action is, it's a little bit different because EA actually enhanced a lot of the ways that the players, the defensive players, react to the ball. They've made it so unrealistic that it's disgusting. So because of that, you have to account for the fact that the defenders have the advantage. So pretty much if you want to run a crazy offense, like run bunch and run post and drags and stuff like that, that would be better suited with speed players. These bigger tight ends and bigger receivers, you got to streak with them. Because that's what, if you watch the NFL, if you have a big-bodied receiver, usually the quarterback just puts it up in the air for that guy to go and get that thing. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is when you watch real football and then you come back to EA Sports, it's like, yo, what is this? You don't understand what's going on. Unfortunately, that's where the game has gone over the last 4 or 5 years. And I understand that a lot of people don't like the Moss action, but you have to also recognize this, right? With the way that these players are big and, they're tall, that's the advantage that they have. So if you want to go with more speedsters like Tyreek Hill and beat me over the top, that's your right as well. Remember, prior to Madden 15, height didn't really matter as much. Even if you go back to Madden 10, when the Chargers, they were the LA Chargers back then, they had two big, but they had Vincent Jackson and they had the other tall dude that was there, I forget his name. They would go up and get the ball, and it was like the out route, high point pass with the user catch, and they would actually jump up, but it wasn't like EA gave them credit for their height. It wasn't until later on you started to see that EA Sports was recognizing, like, yo, these guys are bigger, they should be able to go ahead and get that, the advantage of jumping up for the ball. That was Madden 15, where height actually mattered, and a lot of us was running around with bum tight ends and just mossing dudes. The game has since changed from Madden 16 with the warp tackles and all kinds of weird stuff that they've been doing. In my opinion, has really degraded the game. Because a warp tackle, it eliminates why would you want to create Bo Jackson? Because if he's so fast and a guy that's 30 yards away from you can lurk it, what does that matter? It doesn't make a difference. So it's very, very interesting to me that, that's where we are right now. Like, for instance, you can see, just imagine this, right? If I wanted to right now, you're looking at these prices, right? If I wanted to right now, I could complete this Bo Jackson set for pretty much dirt cheap. Like, you saw, like, that one card is $199. So look, that must mean that people are recognizing. And when I said it, you guys didn't believe me. Now, if I can get him for cheap and have him as a backup, that's completely different. You see what I'm saying? Like, getting him as a backup is completely different, but thinking that he's the real Bo Jackson and that he's all this and people were spending. Remember when I rate sold him, I sold him back for about $599, right? So his price was almost at $600K. It has dropped tremendously since then. That is a huge problem. That's something that you guys have to recognize, and I'm going to always go over that with you guys to kind of give you guys, the kind of importance for what cards are. Now, pretty much in Madden 21, you're either a runner or you're a passer. If you're both and you get success with both, God bless you. But it's very, very difficult to, kind of have the personnel for both. So what you'll notice is a lot of people set up their offenses with speedsters to be able to run bunch and be idiots, right? With that, that's completely different than me. I now realize, right, I'm going to have to go ahead and make sure that I come out and I do whatever I want with, with stretch and then when dudes are sleeping, throw a streak. That's what my game is right now. I don't care anymore. So look, you see how he's at 426? If we do the math and kind of figure it out, we could probably, you know, snipe the cards for a little bit less than that and get them for dirt cheap right now because people are not really on this card as much. Like, you can see that his limited is still 1 million. Nobody's going to buy that. Please don't buy that. You know, just go ahead and complete these other sets and get that done, because that actually looks good to me, because that can be something that we do to make coins back later. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that can be something that we look at like, okay, that set right there, let's invest in that, so that way when the price goes back up and people are like, oh yeah, Bo Jackson, you know, after the Legends weekend is over, we just go ahead and throw that thing back on the auction house and just say, hey, you can have them for 500. Those are the ways that you're going to be able to do, you know, do certain things. But I just want to encourage you guys to understand a lot of different things about this, right? That 199 looked really, really pretty. Right now it's at 203. You can probably get this whole set done for very, very cheap and go along those routes. But remember, it all starts with the actual challenges that you get for the free card, like what I just showed you with John Lynch. But at this point right now, I do not believe that John Lynch is worth 120K. I would not power him up right now because Jeremy Chin, Terrell Edmonds, these guys are a lot better at this time. I want to thank you guys and girls for watching. Continue to be safe. Take care of yourselves and family. Until next time. One love, y'all.